What's up, Michigan State fans? It's Jacob Kotsay here, back with another episode of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. This is another podcast for Friday, April 3rd, 2026. Again, more hoops coverage here for you guys today because, again, we've gotten some more scheduling news in the past couple of days from Mr. Tom Izzo. I'm going to talk about how the non-conference schedule for Michigan State here is already kind of getting some clarity here going on for next season. And there's already three regular season games and one exhibition game that we can kind of lock in right now. And all of them are tough games, like big games, significant games for next season. And just kind of want to go down the line, talk about all four of them. And I guess it starts with the exhibition game against UConn. Because again, of course, UConn's kind of like saying Voldemort in Harry Potter. It's that adverse reaction to it because again, MSU lost to UConn in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. Again, very close game. Nearly came back from 19. UConn's in the Final Four now, so it makes you think, what if they won that game? What if they would have played Duke in the Elite Eight? What would have happened there? But of course, obviously, we're now in the off season now as a result. But because Michigan State went to UConn for an exhibition game to kind of help kick off last season, UConn's going to return the favor and come to East Lansing for an exhibition game to start next season. So again, that'll be I love this new trend of teams playing these tough exhibition games that are like kind of feel like real games. Because like at the end of the day, how much are you really learning when you play Ferris State or you're playing some random or you're playing Northern Michigan or some random Division two school? At best, it's really like an opportunity to kind of get your feet wet. At worst, you have what happened. I can't remember the year, but Grand Valley State beat MSU one time in an exhibition game. That's not great. I mean, it doesn't ultimately matter, you know, but still, like, I don't know how much your players truly learn from those games that usually end in like a 40, 50 point blowout against a bunch of players who athletically don't really belong on the same court as you. So I really do like this new trend of let's schedule a real team. Let's go to a real road environment and see what happens. MSU went to UConn. It didn't really go great for them, but it was a mutually beneficial game. Again, Dan Hurley kind of expanded on how they got exposed in a few areas by Michigan State during that game, like things like transition defense, which is usually what comes up against Michigan State. Free throw rebounds, I think, were an issue for UConn in that game. There was something else he said, but again, I really do like that, and that'll be a fun atmosphere when UConn comes to the Breslin Center. Kind of reminds me of when Tennessee had an exhibition game. That was a charity exhibition game after the Maui wildfires, and I think kind of there was a string of big time exhibition games to raise money for charity. I think kind of coaches looked around and realized we should just do this every year. And ever since you've seen more good games in the exhibition schedule. And you'll be out and MSU UConn, that'll be a very fun game at the Breslin Center. That'll be something to look forward to probably in late October. Once the season gets going, though, guess what? You got Duke. You've got Duke on November 10th in Chicago for the annual Champions Classic. Again, no matter who you're playing in the Champions Classic, you're going to get a good team because against that rotational basis of it'll be Duke. You played Kentucky last year, beat them pretty soundly. Again, you have Duke this year, assuming the event, I don't know how long the contract is for, but you got Duke this year, and then assuming it keeps going, you got Duke, Kansas, and then Kentucky. Duke, Kansas, Kentucky just keeps going on and on and on. So Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, three teams that are good pretty much every year. I think MSU every single year they've played the Champions Classic. The team they've gone up against is at least top 15 in the AP poll at the time. Kentucky didn't end up being very, very good this season. At the time, they were pretty highly ranked. That was one of those tone-setting games, I think, for MSU, because MSU was a maybe not significant underdog, but I think a lot of people had Kentucky in that game. And MSU shot them out of the gym. Like that was a statement win for Michigan State. That was in MSG, I believe. This year they'll get to play Duke again. Again, Duke came to the East Lansing this past year, beat MSU. You get another shot at the Blue Devils. It'll be in Chicago. Again, United Center, where the Big Ten tournament was this past season. Again, Duke's going to look different. I mean, the Cameron Boozer's going to be off in the NBA. I haven't really looked at Duke, but again, Duke's a program that they just reload and they reload some more. I don't really know what the recruiting class comes in, but I'm sure they have at least one or two 5 stars coming in right in to help replace whatever players they're going to lose, and you'll probably see some really good transfers coming in as well. So don't worry about if Duke's going to be good or not. It's Duke. Again, moving on, another repeat matchup. Arkansas. Again, this is some of the latest news for now. We kind of talked about this the other day. You're going to be seeing MSU Arkansas on Thanksgiving in Detroit. Again, Thanksgiving is Thursday, November 26th. It'll be right after the Lions game, I believe, on CBS. So you're probably looking, Lions kickoff will be at around 1, probably looking at 4:30-ish tip time for that at Little Caesars Arena. So downtown Detroit is not going to be very enviable to get into that day for myself. But hey, that's going to be a very fun game. It was a highly entertaining game when the game was in East Lansing. The second game of the year, again, it was the first real look for both of these teams. I think like Arkansas played like Southern or something like that, and MSU played Colgate. So two teams where it's like, okay, we haven't really seen you against a worthy opponent yet in a game that counts. MSU had played UConn. Arkansas had played someone in an exhibition game who was, like kind of worth something. But still, Cam Ward went crazy in that game, 18-10 in that game for him. And again, MSU eked out a win by 3 at home. That ended up being a very high quality win. Arkansas made the Sweet 16. So again, John Calipari having Arkansas in a very good spot. And again, the main news is that this game is supposed to be in Fayetteville. They were supposed to go to Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville. Instead, they're going to move the game back up here in Michigan to Detroit. Calipari posted on Twitter on Thursday that there still will be a return game for Michigan State in Fayetteville. It's just this is more or less like they're just going to postpone that game from this coming season to maybe the next season or a year after that or something. Eventually, MSU is going to go down to Fayetteville. It's just a matter of when. And I guess this is just like Arkansas. It's a one-off neutral site game. Neutral site. But yeah, I'm surprised Arkansas agreed to it because it's basically back-to-back years. You're playing a road game against Michigan State, but John Calipari is not one to duck from the smoke, so I give him credit for that as well. Last but certainly not least, Izzo revealed this as well as the Arkansas game on Tim Stout's show, longtime Lansing sportscaster. And the other game he revealed is they're going to go play Gonzaga in California somewhere. He just said California. That could be 20 different places. But hey, you're going to go out west and play Gonzaga. Another really, really impressive program. 2 teams with the longest Kansas NCAA double A stuff, but 2 programs with, let's just say, 2 programs with very, very, very long NCAA tournament streaks. I believe MSU's at 28 now, 29 really if you count the COVID season. Gonzaga is at 26 or 27. I can't remember which one is which now. But again, Gonzaga is right up there with MSU as one of the most consistent college basketball programs in America. They're moving to the Pac-12 next coming season, so it'll be kind of interesting to watch them in that league. Probably a bit stronger than the West Coast Conference, a little more worthy competition. Game in and game out, but MSU is going to be facing them before that happens. And again, maybe not a super pro Gonzaga crowd whenever that game is. We'll have to see the date. Again, that's all Izzo says. We're going to play Gonzaga in California. LA, Palm Springs, San Diego, who knows where it's going to be. It's going to be a little further than Detroit from MSU because, again, Gonzaga's up in Washington, so it's still a plane. Both fan bases are going to have to take flights to go watch that game probably, unless you really want to drive if you're a Gonzaga fan. But again, those are 4 really, really tough games. Again, UConn's in the Final Four. Could win the Natty. Would not stun me. Where am I? Duke made the Elite 8. Just a hair away from making the Final Four again. Had that crazy ending against UConn. Arkansas, Sweet 16 team, a program that's getting better with John Calipari at the helm. Again, just looking at the direction of Kentucky, I do wonder if they made a bit of a mistake kind of letting them go, but alas. And then Gonzaga, they're in the tournament every single year, just like Michigan State. I have never seen a tournament without Michigan State and Gonzaga in it. And I am old enough to now be covering both of Michigan State or whatever both teams. So yeah, that gives you a sense of how good those programs are because it's really hard to make the tournament every single year. If it was really easy, you'd see teams like Purdue and Duke and Kentucky and UCLA. You'd see a bunch of teams with long tournament streaks, but you don't. So that's part of what makes it super, super, super impressive for Michigan State and Gonzaga to have such a long streak going in their favor. But again, those are just you have 3 regular season games and an exhibition game. Again, it's partially surprising to know this much about a non-conference schedule so far in advance. I mean, to some level, we knew UConn was coming here. We knew there was a game against Arkansas. We didn't know that it was going to be in Detroit. But again, Gonzaga is news, and I guess we knew about Duke as well. But again, generally news about they don't usually actually like publicly release the full non-conference schedule until like a couple weeks before the season. It's relatively late that they release the full schedule for basketball. But again, I have copies of the contracts of all the non-conference games from last year, excluding Champions Classic. But generally, these things are agreed to during the summer. I think I'd have to look, but again, like you're looking at June, July, August is usually when these games get agreed to in writing. I'm sure maybe the process of talking to teams and figuring out dates and stuff like that takes longer, but pen to paper is usually signed during the summer. So it's a little surprising that we already know 4 games that are on the slate. But yeah, that is all for today. There will be plenty more podcasting content coming on your way right here, wherever you're watching or listening to this. Thank you, though, for watching or listening. There'll be plenty of written content, articles from myself at Michigan State Spartans on SI or SpartanNation.com. But that is all for today. Signing off, though, I'm Jacob Katznika. I'll see you guys around.